Mahomet is a five-act tragedy written in 1736 by French playwright and philosopher Voltaire. It received its debut performance in Lille on 25 April 1741. The play is a study of religious fanaticism and self-serving manipulation based on an episode in the traditional biography of Mahomet in which he orders the murder of his critics. Voltaire described the play as written in opposition to the founder of a false and barbarous sect. Plot summary. The story of Mahomet unfolds during Muhammad's post-exile siege of Mecca in 629 AD, when the opposing forces are under a short-term truce called to discuss the terms and course of the war. In the first act, the audience is introduced to a fictional leader of the Meccans, Zopair, an ardent and defiant advocate of free will and liberty who rejects Mahomet. Mahomet is presented through his conversations with his second-in-command Omar and with his opponent Zopair and with two of Zopair's long-lost children, whom, unbeknownst to Zopair, Mahomet had abducted and enslaved in their infancy, 15 years earlier. The now young and beautiful captive Palmyra has become the object of Mahomet's desires and jealousy. Having observed a growing affection between Palmyra and Said, Mahomet devises a plan to steer Said away from her heart by indoctrinating young Said in religious fanaticism and sending him on a suicide attack to assassinate Zopair in Mecca, an event which he hopes will rid him of both Zopair and Said and free Palmyra's affections for his own conquest. Mahomet invokes divine authority to justify his conduct. Said, still respectful of Zopair's nobility of character, hesitates at first about carrying out his assignment, but eventually his fanatical loyalty to Mahomet overtakes him and he slays Zopair. Fanor arrives and reveals to Said and Palmyra to their disbelief that Zopair was their father. Omar arrives and deceptively orders Said arrested for Zopair's murder despite knowing that it was Mahomet who had ordered the assassination. Mahomet decides to cover up the whole event so as to not be seen as the deceitful impostor and tyrant that he is. Analysis and reception. The play is a direct assault on the moral character of Muhammad. Omar is a known historical figure who became second caliph. The characters of Said and Palmyra represent Muhammad's adopted son Zayd ibn Haritha and his wife Zainab bint Jahsh. Pierre Milzer posits that it may have been the intolerance of the Catholic Church and its crimes done on behalf of the Christ that were targeted by the philosopher. Voltaire's own statement about it in a letter in 1742 was quite vague. I tried to show in it into what horrible excesses fanaticism, led by an impostor, can plunge weak minds. It is only in another letter dated from the same year that he explains that this plot is an implicit reference to Jacques Clement, the monk who assassinated Henry III in 1589. In 2005, a production of the play in Saint-Genès-Pauli, Ain, France, resulted in demands for cancellation and street disturbances outside the performance itself. Under pressure to cancel the play, Mayor Bertrand allowed the play to continue despite street disturbances from Muslim groups. Mayor Bertrand says he is proud his town took a stand by refusing to cave in under pressure to call off the reading. Free speech is modern Europe's foundation stone, he says. For a long time we have not confirmed our convictions, so lots of people think they can contest them. However, it was considered that Islam wasn't the only focus of the plot and that his aim when writing the text was to condemn the intolerance of the Church and the crimes that have been committed in the name of the Christ. Napoleon during his captivity on St. Helena criticized Voltaire's Mahomet, and said Voltaire had made him merely an impostor and a tyrant, without representing him as a great man. Mahomet was the subject of deep criticism. Voltaire said the emperor, in the character and conduct of his hero, has departed both from nature and history. He has degraded Mahomet by making him descend to the lowest intrigues. He has represented a great man, who changed the face of the world, acting like a scoundrel, worthy of the gallows. He has no less absurdly travestied the character of Omar, which he has drawn like that of a cutthroat in a melodrama. Translations into English. There are 4 known translations of the play into English. James Miller's translation, completed by John Hoadley, first performed 1744, published by A. Donaldson, 1759. The translation by E. P. Dupont publishes. The translation by Robert L. Myers, published by Frederick Ungar, 1964. The translation by Hannah Burton, published by Lituan Books, 2013.